Hello, everybody. Whew. Hello, everybody. I am, first of all, I hope everybody is doing good. I know you guys haven't heard from me in a couple of days. I do apologize for that. I had a visitor in my home, and I'm one of those people where you don't mix business with pleasure. And additional to that, you don't add everybody to your situation, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily. Involuntarily, I think that's wrong for those individuals who, end up showing up in your space and find themselves in, I'll say, mess. Because, some people do think that this is mess, although it's my life. Um, but additional to that, you just don't add people to your situation, even if they want to be a part of your situation. Some people are not healthy enough or not supportive enough people to be a part of your situation. So you have to be very cautious about who you allow to be a part of your situation. So I did have a guest in my home, and so that's the reason I did not do any of the recordings. And plus, also, I feel like if you know that you are putting yourself in compromising situations, because I do know that. I wasn't born yesterday. So for those of you that think in the back of your mind, oh my gosh, don't you know this could get her killed? Let's say when you love the Lord as much as I do, then you have no fear in seeing him. So, but in regards to my guest, I didn't want to put them in compromising situations. So in a compromising situation. So respectfully, I wanted to wait until they left my home before I returned back to my recordings. However, there is so much I have to share with you guys, and we are going to do it piece by piece, but not all in this one segment. I'm going to try and make this one brief because I do have some things I want you guys to ponder over and think about. And at any point, if you guys want to share share your input, share your thoughts in regards to it, then please feel free to. Um, I see here. And as you know, as you can see, I don't come on here for a fashion show. So yeah, it's one of those days, one of those hair days, but it's going to be okay. Continue to pray for me. My scripture for today is coming from Luke 8:17. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. So there you have it. Um, and as you can see, as much as I'm getting, I'm sharing. Because I said, it's again, let me reiterate, it's so important for everyone in a community to be aware of what's going on in order for everybody to understand why it is so important to have a change and have a positive shift in the community. And so that everyone can also understand why everyone is, why there's so many people that's, stressed in the community, why there's so many people upset, why so many people don't trust, the community or trust their neighbors. And so in order to get everybody on the same page, you have to know what everybody knows. So each one teach one. So like I said, this is my story, and I'm sure that within my stories, there are people in the community that can identify what's, just from things that are going on in my story that has happened in their same story. So you have to, again, I'm going to share and encourage you to tell your story, whether it be, to me, or whether it be to some other individual, or whether it be to the media or another institution, or whether it just be to someone, on a personal level. Throw it up, get it out of your system, because you're walking around pregnant with that story in you, and you're angry at the rest of the world for what you went through, or what your family experienced. And so it creates a distrust and a dysfunction, not only within you, but in the community, because of how you may interact or not interact with the rest of your community. So however you need to get that, get your story out and throw it up out of your system, do so that you can become, healthy. Because I must admit, these last couple of days without you guys have been totally hard on me. I mean, so hard on me. And just being able to share my story and get it out of my system is creating, a avenue for me to become more healthy and more strong in regards to this. Um, I do want to remind you guys, for those that are tapping on other people's shoulders and making phone calls and stuff, can you please come around so I can look at your page, or where you're grouping up in, numbers to watch it on that person's page that's not so, that doesn't care, who knows that they're watching. This is an open page. You don't have to do that. It's an open page. You don't have to look over anybody's shoulder. You don't have to go and sit around in a big group, and watch it that way. You can easily come through the front door. I've shared that before. Um, and I do have officers from El Dorado on my page. So I'm going to extend this to other, officers wherever you are. And I do have other officers from other locations. Please, officers, attorneys, citizens, friends, frenemies, I have no respect of person, meaning I'm not going to say this race can't come, that race can't come, this gender can't come, this gender can't come, this club affiliation can't come. Everybody is welcome. So stop harassing your neighbors and just come on in. Wonderful. Now, I want to quickly, like I said, I'm not going to be before you too long here at all. To give you an update, I am not going to say to you that I received an autopsy. I mean, I know that that's what they would like for me to say, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I received an autopsy, because I have a document that details what exactly an autopsy is and what exactly is included in an autopsy. So what I received is an unprofessional, doctored up documentation with plenty of holes in it, that wasn't even professional enough to be uniform throughout the whole document. That's what I received. So I'm not going to lie to you and say I received an autopsy. And I really hope that the other individuals who have also requested an autopsy report, that you have received your autopsy reports. It has been, heavy on my heart, just wondering if, especially after even, and it's so interesting, because even with the doctored up paperwork that I received, it was still enough to make you be like, wow, what could the actual autopsy report actually reveal if this doctored up unprofessional document reveals what it reveals? It's like, what would the real deal actually show? So in regards to those who have not received autopsy reports, and I know there's some out there, because the wonderful Marilyn Reed from the state crime lab actually said that there were several autopsy release forms that have not been released, that are just sitting there. And it just saddens me to think that, wow, they're probably family members that are trying to get answers, just like I am, and that are trying to seek justice on the behalf of their loved one, and that are trying to fight for the community and let the community know what's going on, but they cannot, because their hands are tied, because their authorization forms for their report regarding their loved ones are sitting at the state crime lab on hold, because people that are knowing that they're covering up evidence Did I say that right? Evidence. That are covering up evidence and that are lying to the community about what's going on is holding up progress, holding up this family from being able to seek closure. Again, I'm going to say that's not okay. That's not okay. I don't know how many people are connected to this role play system that we're living in. You're making a mockery out of a whole freaking state. When you do your pledges and your oaths and you go and you sign up for these jobs where you're working in these positions where you're, considered to be government representatives or state representatives or city officials, and you behave like this, you make your state look bad. You're making a mockery out of your whole freaking state. Over one person who made a decision that was not even based collectively on you guys' decision. You have all these people that are trying to defend you, trying to cover up your mess. And they're steady messing up the whole darn system to cover up one person's wrongdoing. And it's escalating, it's steady increasing because the second person decided to jump on board. Let me see how I can fix this. Then the third person jumps on board. Well, let me see how I can nip it. Let me see how I can cover it up. Let me see how I can, let me see if I can doctor it up. Let me share something with you wonderful. When the Lord comes through and he blows a whirlwind, all that mess, like colorful, beautiful leaves, is going to move out the way. So don't think you can just keep doctoring, covering. It doesn't work that way. At some point, you have to be held accountable for your mistake. And then that's where it stops. You guys, what I want to share with you today or leave with you, and I'm about to get off of here, is I want you to think about it. For those of you that's really been following the case, I'm horrible with directions, so you got to listen to me carefully, okay? I'm horrible with directions. If you know the drive from Smackover to El Dorado, from what I was told is only one way, and then they have that medium in the middle. So if you know that drive, what we was told is that both my brother as well as the driver were both coming from Smackover to El Dorado. What I want you to think about is how in the world, and make sure you're listening, Jeff Rogers. Make sure you're listening, John Shepard. Make sure you're listening, Ricky Roberts, because you gave us a detailed breakdown of this. So make sure you're listening. How in the wonderful world do you have a car and a pedestrian traveling the same wonderful direction, but the injuries on the pedestrian is on the left side? When the pedestrian was on the right side. Did I say that right? Let's try this again. The pedestrian was closest to the median. So if you're thinking, so the pedestrian was walking in the middle of the street, this is what they told us, that he was walking closest to the median. And you have to understand there's a lot more that goes on with that. But let's just focus on that part. He was walking closest to the median, which puts his right side closest to the driver. And they were going in the same direction. So how in the wonderful world did the pedestrian get all of the injuries on his left side? And he didn't land on the car. So you guys think about that. Maybe you guys can educate me a little bit about it, what your thoughts are, because remember, I'm the little ignorant girl who doesn't know. So I don't have a clue. I've been trying to figure it out. Mr. Rogers, if you have an answer, please leave me a comment. Mr. Roberts, Ricky Roberts, Chef Roberts, if you have an answer, please leave me a comment. Miss Ashley Woosley Winans, if you have an answer, please leave me a comment. Mr. Teasley, if you have an answer, please leave me a comment. Officer Jonathan Bailey, if you have an answer, please leave me a comment. Officer Sanders, you have an answer, please leave me a comment. And I can keep going and going and going. If you have an answer, especially if you were so closely involved, please leave me a comment. And for those of you that just feel like, man, I think I may have something, maybe it happened like this, please give me a comment. I would truly appreciate it, because for the life of me, I cannot understand it. Just like I don't understand, and I'm not even for sure. We have to, I actually have to make a call to an attorney to double check something. So I'm not going to talk about the autopsy report, but I can talk to myself. So self, because I've been doing that a lot lately. And I, like one of the things I asked self, I said, self, well, myself said, I said, how in the world can you have over 10 plus lacerations mentioned, but no glass? For a straight hit and run. I asked myself, myself said, how do you have over 12 or so punctate wounds, which are like studded punctured wounds, again with no glass? And some of them are even listed as 2 adjacent punctate wounds. Myself says, If you guys have some ideas, go ahead, leave comments, or feel free to message me. Be blessed.